I was going to talk about a number of subjects today, and where are we going to begin? We're not going to talk about Jesus Martinez right now, but that will be coming up. And Jesus's topic is I can't remember. The other topic I wanted to talk about was intelligent design, which is the opposite view of how things come to be, opposing evolution. Um, the problems that I have with evolution are some things just seem too far fetched to believe that they weren't intelligently designed. Let's go with the mosquito. How is it that something develops the mosquito's proboscis that is so good at penetrating human skin, animal skin? Um, I can't buy it. I can't buy it that somehow, through mutations in some other kind of an insect, a proboscis grew that was perfectly suited for sucking the blood of humans. I know we're reviewing the Scopes trial, which was a long time ago, which was basically, whether evolution could be taught in schools. And it's just that, when I go back and I look at these things with a second look, we were basically brainwashed and saying, it's science, it's science. Science beats religious teachings. But science itself is a religion. I mean, what proof do we have that mosquitoes evolved? But if you think of it, if someone could design a mosquito, a human could design a mosquito. They could. I mean, you just think, I want to create some kind of a bug. It's going to be a flying bug. It's going to, have a long proboscis that can penetrate into human skin, drink blood, and it could be designed. A human could do it. But mutations themselves, I have to go back to my university biology, and they said the vast majority of mutations are deleterious. In other words, they don't confer an advantage, they confer disadvantage on the organism. So to have, by mutation, a proboscis that can penetrate skin and also create the desire in the animal, the mosquito, to go and bite people. I mean, how are you going to get DNA to code for the animal's behavior, which is to apparently seek out humans because of their high CO2 content, because they're expelling breath? That's what we're told, that mosquitoes can sense CO2. This is really far fetched to believe that this organism originated just by random mutations. The other organism I will give you is like amoeba, which are, things like the plasmodium that causes malaria, or amoebic dysentery, which is a small one-celled organism that gets into your body and gives you bloody diarrhea. It can kill you. And these organisms, well, the amoeba is spread by this mosquito. It takes a bite out of you, and then it takes a bite out of someone else, and the transfer of blood brings the parasite from one person to another. that could be by design, but how are you going to, by evolution, get this behavior of biting people, and then, I mean, on the behalf of the plasmodium organism, that the plasmodium, it had no relationship with the mosquito. Somehow it arose. It arose, and it causes a lot of destruction in mammalian tissue. But to come up with this complex life cycle, where the only way it can be spread is by mosquito bite, how did that come about through evolution? How did the DNA of the plasmodium know there was an organism called a mosquito that was going to suck blood and put you into another body? Was it just a happenstance that somehow this amoeba was in someone's body causing a ruckus, and then just happened to be a mosquito that was another different design, and somehow it just was a happy accident, and that led to the spread of malaria? Some of these forms of amoebic dysentery, the amoeba forms a cyst, which is just a heavy cell wall. And then the cystic form of the amoeba gets passed out in the feces, and it just sits there on the grass, whatever animal, a cow or whatever, pooped it out. And it can last for quite a long time, I don't know how many, a month maybe. And then some other animal comes along and eats it, and it gets into the next animal. But, how was it that this formation of the cystic version of the amoeba came to be? By a deleterious mutation, it started forming cystic versions of itself. Where's the intelligence? Because it looks like it's an intelligent design. It's an intelligent design for it to go dormant in a cystic form and wait for some other animal to come along and eat it up. But in the DNA, if we're just talking about mutations causing this behavior, the behavior of the cell to form a cyst, I mean, there's an organization to forming a cyst around the outside of the amoeba. So, I mean, how many genes have got to be switched on or off in order to go and get this thing to create a cyst? Theoretically, there wouldn't be any ability to create an outer cyst around the outside of there. And then there was a mutation, and then all of a sudden, mutated what? That caused this behavior of creating an outside shell on the amoeba. The more I look at it, the more I'm going to tell you, this is intelligent design. This deleterious mutation theory of evolution doesn't work. And the idea that, and then it's created some beneficial adaptation. Someone wants me to talk about sickle cell anemia, which is also related to malaria, because someone who's got sickle cell disease, a sickle cell version of a red blood cell apparently is less affected by the malarial parasite. So people apparently, this is just the documentation, I haven't done the research, this is just what's commonly taught in high school biology, someone who has got sickle cell disease is resistant to malaria. Now, this person that wanted me to talk about it wants me to remember why they wanted me to bring it up. It's Jesus Martinez. Jesus Martinez is the one that's brought it up, and he's not telling me exactly where he wants me to go with this one. So, is sickle cell anemia also, well, a deleterious mutation causes sickle cell anemia? I'd have to go look it up and see what they're saying. And then for that, just by serendipity, to make the red blood cell less less of a target for the malarial parasite, how would that come to be? Because the shape doesn't fit right to the outer shell of the malaria? Or is it some kind of a binding site that's different? I mean, these are the typical things that it would be. Anyway, I'll leave it for you. If you don't know biology, it'll be way over your head. If you do know biology, please don't give me just the straight answers that you got out of the biology textbook, because they're slanted by whoever wrote them. You take a fresh look with fresh eyes. Put on, as I said in yesterday's lecture, Edward de Bono had the six hat theory of, not theory, but six hat way of looking at things. And the black hat is the critical eye. So put on a black hat and look at this stuff with a critical eye. In other words, assume someone's bullshitting you and go looking for where they bullshitted you and look for the errors in their logic. It's always good to be a black hat. Today I've got a white hat, and that is information gathering. I guess we're going to come back to Jesus Martinez. He had another topic, but that's long enough for this lecture. Thank you very much. I'm Jose, the pool boy.